Hey everyone, welcome back to TV Guys, the show that just like Marshall Erickson, it slaps. I'm Matt.
I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
And that's right, Gen Z. We know your slang. We are Sigma. You ain't tuning into some skibbity TV show from Ohio. Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. If you're going to turn it off, I'm done. I promise. Well, Alex, you're back.
I'm back. Third time's a charm.
All right, so Alex, we've had Alex on before, obviously, a couple of different times. What have you been watching the last 4 months, 3 months? What's on your radar?
So I just picked up Severance again. I started it when it first came out. We stopped watching it for some reason. I can't remember exactly why. And then when season 2 rolled around, figured I'd pick it back up again. And so me and Alyssa are hooked on that one. And we just finished the show Prime Evil on Netflix as well. That was a pretty good show. Pretty violent, but it was good. And yeah.
So I hadn't heard of Primeval at all. Angie and I were watching Severance, and it's so nice because it's been a little bit since I've had a show that's like, I can't wait until the day it drops. And then we plan that night we're going to watch it. I haven't had something like that since I think WandaVision, actually.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I can't imagine watching all of season 1 2 years ago and then waiting 2 years to watch season 2. So it's nice that I kind of waited and I'll go right into season 2.
That was kind of like Stranger Things. I caught into it after season 3, and then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess we were waiting a year and a half, 2 years for season 4.
Yeah, by the time it comes out, you forgot everything that happened. You have to rewatch it or watch recaps and stuff. But yeah, it's nice to go right into it.
Severance, that's the one with Adam Scott, right? I've heard good things about that.
It is.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it hooks you.
It's kind of like a combination of the show Lost and then like the video game Stanley Parable or Portal, if you ever played either one of those.
Yeah. I haven't played those games, but I'm a big Lost head.
Yeah, it's Lost, but in an office setting. So I can't say it's like the combination of Lost and The Office, because The Office is very different.
Right.
Different feel. So
escaping an island, escaping an office is the same thing.
Yeah, but it's really good TV. I like it a lot. And so I think we're going to be doing an episode on it sometime later this year. Way after we've reached that, we've been past the excitement time.
That's kind of how we do things.
Why capitalize on something that's popular now when we can do it in 6 months? So
get people to rewatch it again.
Exactly.
It's also with our recording schedule, because we record things by the time but us recording this and this coming out will be probably like a month and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this is, before we get into the episode, I thought of this earlier. So for this episode, I'm podcasting with a friend of mine who I've known for a long time, who drums and has a red-haired wife, and a friend of mine who I've known for a long time who drums and has a red-haired wife.
We're like the same. And I used to have glasses, so
yeah,
similar.
And
you get LASIK?
I did get LASIK.
A redhead whose name starts with an A, even.
It's true.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to real quick give a shout out because I just heard one of my cousins, her name's Kayla. She listens to these podcasts, and according to my mom, from Kayla, she has not missed an episode. So I'm like,
nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Biggest fan, love it. I heard that she also loved the neurodivergent woman episode, which I honestly, when I recorded, I'm like, this might not be one of our best. And then hearing that someone liked it, it makes me feel nice. It's good to know.
Yeah, I admit that one was, I liked it, but I think that we've done better episodes. But good to meet you, Kayla. I mean, I'm not meeting you, but good to hear that you're hearing our voices.
I think it's good
a month and a half later.
I think it's good that we're taking her compliment for one of our episodes and putting it down. She's like, yeah, that was a good episode. No, it wasn't.
I didn't like it. I just listened to it.
There you go. Well, today we are talking about How I Met Your Mother, Season 2, Episode 9, called Slap Bet. One of the best How I Met Your Mother episodes. What do you guys think? Is this your favorite? It might be my favorite.
I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it starts like a long running joke throughout the whole show. So I think
two of them,
definitely one of the most memorable ones. Funny every single time the slap does happen or doesn't happen. Yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah. When How I Met Your Mother was airing, it was kind of like top tier for me, right along with like Office and Parks and Rec and Community and those. It's not top tier anymore for me. Like I don't think of it as highly, just because the whole last season was just kind of took it down a notch. But this episode is still one that like I'll still laugh at it every single time.
Yeah.
Still slaps, you would say?
Yes, it's still very much slapped.
Sigma. So, so yeah, like I kind of interjected when you're saying is that it introduced two different things that were there for the rest of the run of the show, and were really good jokes, really fun stuff. This is also an episode that there's some episodes of TV shows where they have an A plot and a B plot, and they're like completely different. And so, like, for instance, I think a really good example is My Lunch from Scrubs, the episode where the A plot was JD out at lunch, bumps into one of his patients who she's really needy. He misses that she's really struggling and having depression, and she overdoses. And then there's a whole thing about her giving her organs to a couple of the different patients who needed it, and then Dr. Cox realizes that that was a mistake and they rushed it, and that whole, all of that is really, really, really good. It's a great storyline. And then the B plot is Todd might actually be gay. No, wait, he's bisexual and he just wants to have sex with everyone. That's the B plot. Couldn't be further from the quality of the A plot. But this episode, both A plot and B plot, you can argue about which one is actually the main plot and which one is the side plot, right?
True. Yeah, because the Ted and Robin thing was important for their relationship, but I think the slap bet and all that is more long running, because Ted and Robin were only dating for about a couple seasons of the show.
Yeah, it's kind of intertwined a little bit, because you wouldn't have the slap bet without the whole Robin situation. So if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have the slap bet. So they're a little bit intertwined. I would argue that plot A would be, why does Robin hate malls? And then you have plot B because of that.
Yeah. And I would agree with the same thing, but that's what I really love about this episode. As you said, they're so intertwined. And so it's for someone who doesn't pay as much attention to story structure, you might not even like divvy it up into an A plot and a B plot. You just see the whole thing. Because this was a really good use of the economy of story. And so there wasn't like wasted fluff. It was all really servicing this whole, why in the world does Robin not like malls? And the friends have a different viewpoint than her boyfriend does. And so let's talk a little bit about Ted's point of view. Yeah, sometimes with these we go like scene by scene by scene, but I think we can do kind of this plot versus this plot.
Well, let's say before you get into the Ted, like when they all find out that she doesn't like malls, it's kind of an intense moment, because it kind of starts like, oh no, we should go. We'll hang out at the Sharper Image opening, and she kind of blurts out, "No, I don't go to malls," and you can tell in her tone that it's something big, and that's what sets off Ted. I'm like, okay, is this a big thing I should know about? Why? And it kind of an insecurity, like, are we okay that she doesn't feel trustworthy? Doesn't feel like she can trust me to tell me whatever the secret is.
Yeah. And so Ted, in the moment after they are prying and trying to figure it out, Ted in the moment was like, okay, guys, let's respect her space. But then it does that smash cut to they're in bed. It's like, so what's up with the malls and like prodding after her?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's fine. He's asking what's like, I'm going to do some assigning blame about their fight as we talk about it, because that's what we're gonna do. At this point, I don't feel like Ted's in the wrong of like asking and trying to prod him, like, well, what's the problem? He keeps pushing though, and she clearly doesn't want to talk about it, and he keeps pushing. He comes up with the jokes and the like, did you get stuck under a fake boulder at a mall? And has a funny line of like, who gets stuck under a fake boulder at a mall? Not me in Ohio when I was 9.
Not me.
Which I would imagine was an Indiana Jones display or something.
That is a great observation.
Based on Ted's age, I think that would be about the right time.
Yeah. Look at you, just giving us this headcanon that we didn't even know we needed.
Yep.
I've always thought that. I don't know if you guys think of that.
Solve the mystery.
Because when you think fake boulder, you think big boulder, you think of Indiana Jones. At least I.
You just think that because of the Community episode where a boulder was what was all to blame for the darkest timeline.
Or I think about it because of when they did the Indiana Jones to show Step by Step episode or the Full House episode.
Hmm.
Yes, that is also true. All right, so they have the little spat there. Then Ted goes behind her back of like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Hey, Marshall, will you look into what's going on with her? Will you look at like the laws of trying to figure out what was the law that he had to look up, because he had a
just to see if she was married or not, because Marshall thought
first,
she was married.
When she was badgering him, no, I think the law came later because at this point he still didn't know that she was married, and then he's talking it through with Marshall, and Marshall suggests maybe she's married, and then it's after Robin confirms to Ted in private, then he goes back to Marshall, and then Marshall looks up the marriage records. I think,
correct.
Right?
Yeah. That was a test, and you got it. Alex failed.
It helps to watch the episode right before we record.
I only watched like 5 hours ago. It's fine.
I watched it like 12 hours ago, I guess, 15 hours ago.
15. That's too long, man.
It's way too long. It's a whole different day.
If you start at 15 hours, you got to get at least 2 more in there. You got to get those are rookie numbers, man. You got to bump those numbers up. All right, real quick before I continue with this, we're filming this or we're recording this shortly after the Super Bowl, and if you watch the Super Bowl and you're like Brian and watch only for the commercials, I don't know if you counted. There were 4 Matthew McConaughey commercials. 4 of them, and he was advertising 3 different products in those 4. Like, come on, man. There's other
making money.
Yeah, he is.
What movies? I don't follow movies that much. What is he even doing lately? Because I feel like I see him in commercials more. I don't see him in movies that much anymore.
There's a rumor, and this is going to come out pretty close to Thunderbolts. There's a rumor he's going to pop up at the end of the movie Thunderbolts, the MCU one, and he's going to be playing the new Norman Osborn going forward.
He's just been studying for that role the last couple of years instead of doing movies.
They're putting Norman Osborn because aren't they almost done with? Because I feel like they've done 4 Spider-Man movies, which is usually that's usually like the max for like a feature character in the MCU. Are they doing more Spider-Man?
But here's what you got to remember: Spider-Man movies are owned by Sony, and they just partner with MCU in order to do their own thing and to have it tied into the MCU. That's why the Sony Universe movies that suck all are bad, because they don't have the input of Kevin Feige or anyone overseeing it. And so they're trying to do as much outside of just Spider-Man to milk the Spider-Man universe, and they're having a really hard time doing it. And so the MCU versions, they're going to keep them going because that's all that Sony's got. And so they're making this money versus the MCU.
I'm thinking, like, is Tom Holland still like game to make more movies?
Dude, they might do like a DC where it's like, hey, we had Ben Affleck, but at the same time, we're going to have Robert Pattinson be Batman.
Yeah.
And we're going to say that that's a different universe. That's what we're doing.
It's hard because they broke that open with the last one. Then with all right, we're going to have Andrew and Toby and Tom all together in the same movie. It's a little much.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it was I liked it, but I wasn't expecting to see any more Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah. And we are definitely getting a Spider-Man 4, and we're probably getting a good amount of Spider-Man, including Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back in Secret Wars in the Avengers one.
Oh.
That's been rumored.
I kind of stopped following Marvel movies. I kind of lost it. There's just too much happening with it.
I know. Yeah. Last year I started going through a rewatch, and I'm still technically going through it very slowly. I just finished What If season 1. I'm still in the 2021, and it's kind of a slog. Like once you get past like Endgame, it's like, all right, there's a couple of great things, but it's kind of like I'm not looking forward to watching them, but I want to finish the rewatch.
Agreed. I think Fantastic Four is going to be great. I think Captain America is going to put him like a step back in the right direction, and I hope Thunderbolts is good. I have no idea how good that's going to be. But you guys can let us know in the comments, because Captain America's been out now for a couple weeks, so let us know what you thought of Captain America 4.
Hey, remember when this episode was about Slap Bet?
No idea. I'll bring it back. So
hold on. Matthew McConaughey has not really been in a movie since 2019. He did the voice in the Sing movies, but that's about it.
Yeah. He did some producing for the True Detective series after season 1. He and Woody Harrelson were producers for seasons 2, 3, and 4. Which, by the way, I just watched True Detective Night Country, the 4th season, and that's really good.
Okay,
it was the
that's
best
on my
one
list.
since the first one.
Nice.
If you're like, because True Detective, all the seasons are completely different than the other seasons, so it's like you don't have to watch a season if you don't want to. I'd say skip 2 and maybe skip 3. 1 and 4 are good.
I got bored in 3. I skipped 2. I loved season 1. Got kind of bored in 3, so I might just pick up with 4.
What show is it?
True Detective.
True Detective.
Okay. Never seen it.
Night Country.
It's got Matthew McConaughey in the first season.
It does. And Woody Harrelson.
And Woody Harrelson.
Michelle Monaghan. And Alexandria Daddario.
Oh.
And I think those are the biggies. I don't know if there's more besides that. All right. So, hey, Ted, remember how you're a jerk? So, after talking with Marshall and Barney, Ted concocts this plan in his head of smoothly asking Robin about possibly being married. Because, obviously Barney, and we're going to get to their side thing, that Barney thinks she's a porn star, and Ted's like, it's not it. She's probably married. And so then
Ted's skipping over. There's a good line.
I almost
stupid,
said it too.
I love it. It's like, our friend Robin does porn. Wait for it. Ography.
I
love Ted's like,
didn't need that.
Didn't have to wait for that. The ography is not the important part of that word.
I thought we'd come back to that. Fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. So Ted gives him the whole like, hey, so Marshall thinks that you might be the reason why you don't like malls is because you got married in one. Isn't that crazy? Just Ted Mosby sucks. I just want us all to be honest.
And it's a TV trope that you see in a bunch of different shows that annoys me is where, they're playing Scrabble. They just happen to have the right word. That's what they're trying to find out about. Like, whenever you play Scrabble, it's always the most random words. It's never like, this word is very pertinent to a conversation we had earlier.
He's probably a cheater. He cheated.
He did. And that I do appreciate that for the writing of like him trying to force it because they're playing Scrabble. So it's like, I've got the word husband, but the B, he didn't have a B, so he used the P. And so like trying to find a way to naturally bring it up. And that was his best way that he could.
I still think it's a little convenient that he had all the right letters for the rest of husband.
That's just 6. It's how common an A and an S and an H and an N are?
And a D.
Sometimes D is less so, but still. U is less so, but still.
Yeah. And then, like you said, in this scene, Robin, she sees right through it. She's like, okay, he thinks I'm married. He's not going to let this go. And I think she just, in that moment, decides, okay, fine. I'm going to go with it to get him off my back. Yep, not knowing she's just making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because up to this point, I'm on Ted's side. Because, like, all of us are in relationship. Well, Brian, are you in a relationship or you've been in relationships?
No, I'm still in a relationship.
Okay.
Me and Sabrina have been dating for almost a year now.
That's right. So then we're all in relationships, and I know things about my co-host. I know his personal life. It's fine. And and so like a part of a relationship is you talk about things. You get to know each other. And I like the gag about Lily and Marshall and how they have to tell each other everything, including how bad, like the dumbest thing. And so the joke of like Marshall's story, like, well, I still had that orange juice taste in my mouth, but I started brushing my teeth and I could taste that orange juice, but I powered through. And then Lily's like, and then what happened?
Yeah. That's about half of me and Melissa's relationship. That's how she talks to me about her day. Mine doesn't really sound that way. Woke up, went to work, came home. That's about it.
That's true. And that does seem completely in line with you and Alyssa. Like, Alyssa will give you about 100,000 words, and you give her like 12.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
But and it's also a little different because you guys are both in different stages because you guys have both been married for over 10 years, whereas I'm still not even living together. So it's like,
But if you found out she doesn't like malls, what would you do? You'd want to know why she doesn't like malls.
Only if I thought it was a big deal. Otherwise, okay, we'll just not go to malls.
I don't need to know. I don't really care. What?
I mean, but in this situation, Robin did make it sound like it was a big deal. If she had just like, oh no, I don't really want to go to the mall,
Right.
then I don't
Right.
think. Then I think Ted would have been overreacting.
Brian,
Yep.
why wouldn't you push on it? What if Sabrina is a mall werewolf, where whenever she walks into a mall, she turns into a werewolf? It's not the full moon; it's a mall. Like, you got to be prepared for things like this. You have to ask those questions.
Okay, well, I promise I will ask if she's a mall werewolf.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also,
That's all I
definitely.
ask.
She
Has to
also
be either
listens to-
marriage, porn, or werewolf. It's one of those three options. There's no
The
other
funny thing is,
explanation.
she also listens to most of these episodes, so she's going to listen to this too.
Yeah.
Clearly, also teen pop star. Those are the four:
Right.
marriage, porn, werewolf, teen pop star.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Only options.
Or giant boulder.
Yes. See,
Stop
yeah.
adding to this.
So kind of segueing into this. So another part when he's grilling her on, so he finds out from Marshall that she wasn't actually married, and he's trying to get her to confess, and he asks her all these very specific questions about her wedding, and he makes it sound like you should remember every detail. Okay, I don't remember all the details of my wedding. Like, do you remember the food that you served at your wedding?
No
I
idea.
don't. I think there was I think that we had egg rolls.
I
don't remember.
And I don't remember that because I remember having the beef, but I just remember I will not have not beef at my wedding.
Mhm.
Okay.
I love beef that much. So it's more about, I just know myself.
Like,
Yeah.
I went to both of your weddings, and I don't remember any of the food.
That's
I didn't
fine.
eat the food at my own wedding, so I definitely don't remember. Probably chicken and beef.
It's so ridiculous. Like, how many times does this happen? Oh, I got my food. No way. I have to greet 90,000 people. And
Yep.
then by the time I come back to it, the dance has started.
Yep.
Bull crap.
Yep.
I did have McDonald's that night. Just so everyone knows.
I had a gas station burger that night.
I
That's all
don't
that was
remember.
open.
So a little bit higher quality than McDonald's.
A little bit.
Yeah. I honestly
All right.
don't remember. I probably had something like that after my wedding. I don't remember.
I do want to. There's a line I really like. Okay, so rewatching this episode, it made me once again appreciate Jason Segel, because just the
Yeah.
way that he delivers lines. Like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, there's funny stuff in here. But I think if I was watching this for the first time today, my comedy has changed a little bit. That it might not be quite as funny as it was in that moment. But
Sure.
still, Jason Segel's delivery of things is fantastic. And so one of them is when he's telling Ted about how he looked up all this stuff about Robin, can't find anything about her being married, and then throws in she's also not great at parking legally.
Yeah.
Great delivery, good joke. I love it.
There's another great Jason Segel delivery a little bit later. I'll point it out when that's later in the episode.
He's just a treasure all through this
Yep.
episode and all through the series.
And this is also what I love about Marshall is so in on, like, he's taking his own personal time to dig through records to find out if Robin is married, and he doesn't question, like, yeah, cool, we're in it. It's like, to him, it's like a fun, like, caper to try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already won the bet too, but he's still going through and researching and everything.
Mm.
So they do have their fight after this because, he catches her in her lie. And I was conflating this with some other thing in my head where there's another sitcom where it's the same thing happened, where they're asking him all these questions over and over and over, and they keep having all these answers. And then the one person's like, how are you so good at this? Because, like, they know they're lying. It's not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What show is that?
Could have been Brooklyn
It sounds
Nine-Nine.
like Andy Samberg.
It also sounds like it could be a Monica Chandler thing from Friends, but I can't place it.
Oh yeah.
If you guys remember, you can mark it down in the comments there. But yeah, so I was waiting for that joke, and I'm like, oh, that's a different show. Okay. But still, he catches her, they have the fight, and then at this point I switch allegiances from Robin to Ted, where it's like he's so holier than thou, and I was like, look, I blah 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 blah, but yet he, like, immediately ran to his friends when she told him this secret, even though the secret was a lie.
Yeah. And I love the line. He's like, no wonder your fake husband moved to Hong Kong. He moved there for business.
Yeah. She's defending her fake husband.
And I love that she got tripped up on husband's name. She made up all the details of the food and the buffet and everything, what's his name? I don't just say Jim or Mike or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the writing of this too, because their fight feels very in line with their characters and highlights how not good of a couple they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. If you guys are Robin Ted stans, I mean, maybe they both deserve each other. I think Robin has more growth in the series than Ted does, but at this point, they both are pretty immature, and
Mhm.
I just don't think it's a good couple.
So very early on in this podcast, like 4 years ago, we did an episode on worst finales, and we talked about how like they had this idea from the very beginning that Ted was going to end up with Robin, and they could have made that a good story if they didn't spend 8 years showing us how they're not a good couple and then making them put them
Right.
together at the end.
Right.
Yeah, great points, and they're great points, especially because they're mimicking the points that I made. So
really well said, Brian.
It's always great when it reinforces what we already believe. That's how American politics work.
That's exactly it. That's why you go on the internet. None of my friends are agreeing with me. Let me go find someone chat or forum that does agree with my point of view.
Or you have people who like see an Onion article and because the parody of it like matches what they believe, they instantly believe it, no question.
Wait, we're not supposed to do that?
You know what? You do you,
The
Matt.
Onion is a reliable source.
It is. Come on. I believe some controversial things, like that a hot dog is classified as a taco.
A taco?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
not a sandwich. I know is a hot dog a sandwich. No, my friends, it's a taco. Deal with it.
I feel like if we get into that, it's going to be a whole other episode.
And coffee is soup. All right. So, what else happened to this? All right. So then they have the growth of Ted when actually Barney finds someone who has a Robin Sparkles VHS and he uploads it online and he tries to respect her wishes and he finally does have this full circle where it's like, okay, I messed up. We should respect her privacy. And to her credit, Robin also has that growth where she's like, no, maybe it's better that we put it out here. And so thus concludes their arc.
And I love the beginning of it where, like, I mean, the video really seemed like a bad 70s porno.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And of course they have like, it pauses and I'm trying to think what happened. So
part of me almost thought too, because I forgot, I haven't watched the episode in forever. So when I was watching it last night, it almost seemed like Barney knew it wasn't porn, like he watched it before. All right, we're just going to stop it right there. That way it proves that he won the bet.
Could be, but then at the same moment, that moment when the video starts and all four of them turn in unison and look at Robin, like, what are we looking at? That's the only thing that negates that idea.
Oh, yeah, right. Once I saw that, brother, oh, no, Barney doesn't know them. But when that was happening, I thought he did actually know.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So Marshall had slapped Barney because he won earlier in the episode. And then this is where they stop it. Barney thinks he won, and he slapped Marshall.
He slapped Marshall 3 times because Marshall slapped prematurely.
Yep. Oh, that's true. And
premature slapulation.
Yes. It's a dumb joke, but I love it. And Marshall has this line where he's like looking in, like he's like in tears, not in tears, but he's like scared, like it's a horror movie, like the Blair Witch. Like, I don't want to get slapped again. That's the other line we were talking about from Marshall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that I love this. So the episode is called Slap Bet, and I feel like they really held the pop star thing close to the vest, the creator of the show. I don't think anybody watching it or in the episode was expecting what we were about to see.
Right.
No, not at all. I remember because that's such an out of left field concept.
Right.
And the character's reaction of just the slow look at her is great. And just the absurd, they knew the comedic gold they had of this, and letting it play out, letting us see all of this, the whole video pretty much, and just kind of interspersed with their reactions. It was really top tier comedy. Someone, I think in the writing room, they whoever came up with this, like let's do this. And people were like, oh my gosh, that's right. The writers had fun, and then they kept building on it, and so they knew what they had, and it really showed in this episode.
And the thing is, it's an absurd, goofy video, But I could see that being, like, especially being, I could see it being like a video connected to like a Disney Channel original movie with like Zendaya singing or whatever, or Miley Cyrus. I could see that happening in like around that time.
For sure. Yeah, definitely over exaggerated, and you add in all the Canadian accents too, and but it's it's classic.
And all of a sudden there's a robot, and I love that. Oh, guys, Robin's rapping.
Yeah.
This is another Jason Segel line that was great. Is early on, he's like, taking a pause from the first of many viewings. I can't help but notice this isn't porn. So I love all of this about the Slapback Commissioner. I love that they brought Lily into this. Like the whole story, again, two different things. The Robin Sparkles and the Slapback are both really hilarious, comedic, genius things. And we got them both within the course of a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm. And the slaps were, they were really good. The way they doled them out throughout. Like at one point we went multiple seasons between slaps. And like they always had that in their back pocket. Like I think the only other episode I think might be in contention with this one is the Slapsgiving one.
Yeah.
Agree. I mean, this is like I liked also the out of the blueness of when he slaps Barney on his show when he's doing the one-man show.
Oh yeah,
that was a great
There it goes
to that episode.
Like that's 2, that's 3.
Oh, it's so good.
And then it also starts out with Robin Sparkles, because I think we get at least 2 more. Is it 2 more Robin Sparkles songs throughout their series? There's the Beaver one.
Yeah, we got the one on the beaches, and then we've got
Sandcastles in the Sand.
Yeah, that's it. And then we've got like her emo depression one.
Oh yeah.
And then we have the kids TV show. That was
that was with Alan Thicke. That was all full of innuendos. That was not meant to be innuendos.
Just like
I totally forgot about all of these. This is the show I watched in college. So this is my binge show that I watched in college, and I remember watching basically back to back every single season after they all came out on Netflix. And I've like forgotten. I remember like bits and pieces of everything, but all the details I remember them.
So I'm trying to remember. Did I get you into the show? Because there's somebody who I got into the show.
Yeah, you definitely might have.
Yeah, because I know you got me into The Office, so this was like kind of me paying you back.
Mm-hmm. Paul and John got me into The Office.
Yeah.
So as much as we've been praising Robin Sparkles and her legacy when us laying out the sequels to Robin Sparkles, none of them were all that good. None, like the music videos or like her angsty phase or whatever. None of that was good. But the callbacks to the original Robin Sparkles and that Let's Go to the Mall and like how often they'd use, because they love using their own stuff that they do. Like when they had the Murder Train song, and they would use the Murder Train every now and then throughout the seasons, and just like, we're all on this inside joke together.
Or do you remember when there was the Minnesota bar that Marshall would go to, and then at the end there was a Canada bar, and Marshall starts the karaoke with the whole crowd singing "Let's Go to the Mall."
Right. Oh, yeah, and that's a great use of that. Speaking to Jason Segel, I've been peppering them throughout this episode. I think this is my last like really, really funny line that I loved his delivery on when he's talking about like when he first introduces that maybe they got married in a mall. He's like, back in Minnesota, tons of people get married at the Mall of America, and they have a golf course and blah blah, and going on and all. And Lily's like, we're not getting married in a mall. He's quickly just meet with the guy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Which, so listeners, if you didn't know this, Alex and Matt know this. I used to work at Mall of America. I used to work in the Nickelodeon park. And there was one day that a couple with their wedding party, they were all dressed up like normal. They had just gotten married at the mall, and they were all decided to go on the carousel and like in their tuxes and wedding dress and take pictures, have someone take pictures of them on the merry-go-round as it went around.
It's a great venue.
Yeah.
And that's not even the weirdest thing that happened to him that day.
Yeah.
I recently went to the mall with the kids, and we were there and we were going through it, and it's just like we said before this episode started, because we kind of were talking about Mall of America, of just like how different it is now and how
Mhm.
how like much it has changed. And so like it was kind of fun to like point out things to my kids, and then also to be like, oh, these are some cool things. So now we're actually going to plan to do like a long weekend at the mall, in the cities,
Yeah.
but to come to the mall and like do their escape room that they have there in Nickelodeon Universe, and
Yeah.
like they've got like a laser tag place and some of the like more fun attraction stuff they have. So
Yeah, that was fun. Like just last month, we went to the Mall of America for my dad's birthday, and we did the Flyover America, which is kind of cool. So it's like you're in like in front of an IMAX theater, and like the seat, you're kind of dangling in front of it, so it gives you the effect like you're on the helicopter driving.
It's like the Mystery Mine Ride.
Yeah, actually, it's where the Mystery Mine Ride used to be.
Wait, or like Soarin' in Disney World.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You can bring up Disneyland and their episodes in Full House, and I bring up Disney World as just like awkward silence.
I actually didn't hear what you said. Let the mic cut out for a second.
I think I've been to Soarin'. Wait, is Soarin' new or was Soarin' there like 20 years ago?
So Soarin' came with Disney's California Adventure about 25 years ago is when that park opened, or 24 or something like that.
Okay, good. So then I was there.
And then that ride was so popular, they installed a version of it down in Disney World in Epcot in the Land Pavilion area.
Okay.
See, when you said Soarin', I thought you meant like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. So I just kind of let it be.
Got it. So the awkward silence says, what is this guy
It was
on?
just confusion. I'll let this one go.
Well,
yes,
I was also just in my head trying to remember which one, because I was confusing that with the Rock and Roller Coaster. So I'm like, I know the name. Which one is it? Because I haven't been to Disney in
those
decades.
are so different. Yeah. It's kind of like this ride at Disney World. Sauron, the guy who tries to destroy all of Middle Earth. That was a great ride. Okay,
but here's the thing: the Rock and Roller Coaster could be called Soarin'. The name would work that way, I think.
Okay.
Matt's just staring at me.
It makes more sense in my thoughts. So yeah.
But that ride is gonna be Muppet themed soon, Brian.
I know. I heard that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer to get rid of Muppet Vision 3D, but we've talked about that. It's not that great of an attraction, anyways.
So this episode of
So How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
I mean, we talked a lot about this episode. It's a little harder on a comedy show like this to like stretch it out, and we don't need to like stretch it out needlessly, but there's not as much to talk about. Let's talk about the cinematography of this. No, it's what it is. There's not a deeper thing to it. It was fun. It's a great gag, and it's deserving to be referenced and be remembered the way it is.
Yep, leads to a lot of future gags and laughs and everything. So yeah, really good episode.
The one thing though is that when you watch the full video, because we don't see the full video, we see like most of it, but we keep cutting away to the gang watching it. One thing, it's a little doesn't make sense unless you watch the full video. At one point, she's dancing, and there's all like the 80s dressed teenagers dancing around her, and there's like a random like middle-aged guy in a business suit who's dancing too. And in the full video, which was on the DVDs, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere, there was like a storyline where like it was something like the song is so catchy that even like the boring old businessmen are getting into it, and there was a bit of a story with that. But as I was watching this, I'm like, I remember thinking the first time, why is there a random old guy in a suit dancing?
I missed it.
Why not? It's the 80s. Yeah. Anything goes.
Well, technically it was the 90s.
Actually the 90s, yeah.
It's Canada 80s.
Canada 80s. Which is 1993.
The one guy who was dancing up by her doing the robot was doing a really, really good robot, I will say.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's also give credit where credit is due. This song is a banger. It's a great song.
Yes.
I mean, like, sure,
Every time Matt goes to the Mall of America, he puts that on his playlist.
Like, here's the deal that people don't talk about. Like, people will like crap on pop songs, but pop songs and chord progressions of pop songs are specifically wired to release dopamine in your brain. And so there's songs like Justin Bieber songs, and like some of these are like specifically written the way they're written because your chemical body has a reaction to the music, and not vomit like how you would think for Justin Bieber, but like it is supposed to be catchy. And I think that's part of the annoyance of pop music is that it's like, I love it, but I don't like to love it because it's too chipper and fun and goofy and it's so stupid. But it is catchy. So
You're also describing the hamster dance. Stupid, but very catchy.
Man, meme music is a dark hole, brother.
Also, it is How I Met Your Mother in general has a lot of good music because, impressive for a TV show because you have all the Robin Sparkle songs. There's the one, "Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit." There is the one point Marshall is singing Marshall versus the Machines. There's more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's a number of times that the gang. Ted's Super Date song. The whole gang goes into the music pretty well in this.
And the aforementioned Murder Train.
Yes, and Murder Train.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think there's an album somewhere of like How I Met Your Mother songs. If not, there should be.
I'm sure there's something on YouTube for it.
Yeah.
Well, that is Slap Bet. And I hope you enjoyed it. This is the first of 5 Slap Bet episodes. And no. Well, let's jump into trivia here real quick. So last week we had a great episode. If you were here for it, we talked about COVID, and everyone loves talking about COVID. It's like the top thing to talk about now. All the kids are trying it. They're going out there, 6 feet of difference. No way. They're like 1 inch of separation, and then they lick each other. And so I don't know. We talked about COVID. And we asked the question, what was the most watched television show, according to streaming numbers, during the span of COVID? Alex, what do you think?
Is this like a new show, or like just it could be like
could be anything?
What just started watching?
What show was streamed the most in 2020?
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy was actually number 2.
Oh, dang it!
Actually, it was Grey's Anatomy. It was The Office. The Office was
The Office. Oh.
Was streamed for 57 billion minutes when you add them all together.
Is Friends in the top 5?
I only saw the stat I had said The Office was the most streamed show in the United States with over 57 billion minutes viewed. This was 45% more than the second-ranked show, Grey's Anatomy. Dang. So that's all I know.
All right. Well, this week's trivia is, what pop artist was Robin Sparkles based off of? So what was the inspiration for Robin Sparkles? And it was not me. Not this time.
There's no way to prove that.
That's
true. Just to call it out. Lately, you've been using that joke a lot where like the question, like, what celebrity was this? And you always say, it's not me. I think you've used that at least like 3 times in the past 10 episodes.
Yeah. That's because it gets funnier every single time I say it.
Yes, of course.
Building up to the one time where the answer is Matt Rottenberg.
That's true. I'm getting you prepped, and one of these days, we're going to ask a trivia question where I'm the answer, and no one's going to see it coming. What popular host of, or co-host of movie or TV guys? You know what? I'm done. When you ruin a joke in the middle of a sentence, you have to just respectfully bow out.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing, Alex, is there a show that you're most excited for this year? Because I showed Brian, I sent you like that Netflix, like this is all the stuff new on Netflix. It's like, holy crap, there's a lot of things coming on Netflix. Yeah. But that's not the only one. Like HBO Max has some bangers coming out this year. Disney Plus. I use bangers term already, and I never say that word, but apparently that's the word of the day tonight.
You should know what my answer is going to be.
What is it?
Show coming out this year?
Cobra Kai.
Alien Earth.
What?
New Alien TV show coming out.
Alien Earth. Yeah, you're kind of. I'm sorry, you're going back into like I'm far away again. But yes, Alien. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Coming out this summer, I want to say. Super excited for that one.
What did you think? Last thing before we're done. What did you think of Alien Romulus?
I liked how it paid homage to the original one. Overall, I did like the movie, but could have done a much better job with it. It took way too long for it to get going. Like they did too much backstory stuff. It took 45 minutes for them to get to the ship, and then everything just happened so fast after that. So they could have skipped a lot of the intro stuff, backstory. You can figure that out on the trip up there. But overall, I did like it way better than Covenant.
Yeah, it might be my second favorite Alien because I liked the original was great, and I just like that feel more than I like the Space Marine feel of Aliens. But that's just me. And also,
they're both good movies.
I get the criticism on the other side. Like Jurassic Park was the same way. Jurassic Park was surprisingly restrained for when the like dinosaurs get out, because like it's an hour into the movie before they're like, okay, we're gonna cut the power now, and like that. I'm sure you make that movie nowadays, and you have producers like, no, you have to get the dinosaurs there by like the title card, like the first 15 minutes. No, nope, they held back, and it was better for it.
And so, like, I haven't. I mean, I was kind of quiet during the Alien part. I haven't seen any Alien movies in forever. I don't remember. I need to go rewatch some of them. But then, as far as Jurassic Park, I think after a while, it's like, okay, there's too many Jurassic Park movies now. I feel like they've done everything they need to do.
There's a new one coming out now.
And I thought they were done because they did 3 original, and then they did 3 with Chris Pratt, and I thought that was it.
And the new one looks really bad. Sorry,
in it, right? It's just the same girl.
No, it's not. It's Scarlett Johansson. It's a new person.
Is it in the same universe? Because the first, like all the original 3 and the Chris Pratt ones were in the same universe.
Yep, they're all in the same universe. They're still using like because it's going to be on the Site B that was like Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 that those took place on that island.
You think in the universe they would know by now to stop making dinosaurs?
Nope, obviously not. I just wish they were better. Jurassic World, the original, like the first one, wasn't so bad. It was refreshing. Yeah. It was like, okay, there's potential for these new movies to go somewhere. This first one isn't like top notch, but it's watchable, and I enjoyed it while I watched it. And the second and third of that were like, no, these are bad.
Second one was pretty lame. Third one I just heard it was terrible. The
third one was like, oh,
they brought back Sam Neill and everybody, right?
And Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern. They brought all 3 of them back. But it's like a big part of the plot was there are these super enhanced bugs that are killing crops, and that's what you want in a Jurassic Park movie is a bug.
Yeah, there's a lot of locusts in my dinosaur movie. Well, that's it for what we've got. That was fun. I enjoyed having Alex on. I'm sure he enjoyed being on. I won't even give him a chance to say so because I don't want him to lie to us. And until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
And we're reminding you to stay tuned and keep watching.